Fruit flies.
Gosh, are you a frog, Prince? No, I'm a frog woodcutter. Red Riding Hood was astonished when the frog transformed into a woodcutter. "Thank you so much," he said. "The evil witch turned me into a frog because I accidentally cut down her magic tree. Whatever can I do to repay you? Can you direct me to grandmother's?" she asked hopefully. And he did. And what do you suppose the wolf was doing all this time? The wolf needs another disguise. Do you think grandmother's clothes would fit him? My, what a lovely grandmother I make. Red Riding Hood hurried to her grandmother's cottage. She had a funny feeling that all was not as it should be. The door was ajar, and the familiar scent of grandmother that normally wrapped itself around her had become dark and unfamiliar. She knocked on the door, even though it was open, because she never entered a room without knocking. "Come in," came a growling voice that didn't sound at all like grandmother. Grandmother must be sick as a dog, thought Red Riding Hood in her head. But out loud, she chimed politely. "Grandmother, I have brought you many things to have you up and about in no time." She set down the things and made some tea. The room was dark, and grandmother was lying, with just her head poking out above the covers, not looking herself at all. Red Riding Hood went a little closer and peered into her grandmother's eyes. Something was not quite right. What is the matter with grandmother? Tap on the flashing areas to look more closely at grandmother's face. Oh, grandmother, what big eyes you have. All the better to see you with. Oh, grandmother, what big ears you have. All the better to hear you with. Oh, grandmother, what big hands you have. All the better to hold you with. Oh, grandmother, what big teeth you have. All the better to eat you with. And the wolf swallowed Red Riding Hood in one fearsome gulp. Off in the woods, the frog turned woodcutter chopped down his last tree of the day. He gathered some firewood for Red Riding Hood and her grandmother. Outside the cottage, he too thought it strange that the door was ajar, and that the ground was shaking from the snores coming from inside. He tiptoed in and found grandmother asleep in bed. But no! On second glance, he saw that in front of him, fast asleep, was the wolf that had been tormenting the village for many years. He was about to raise his axe when he heard a cry of help from the belly of the wolf. The wolf awoke and tried to escape. Help the woodcutter catch the wolf. Slide the running gizmo back and forth to help the woodcutter run faster.
Roll it back and forth fast. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Keep going. Keep going. There you go. You catch him. Don't slow down. What are you doing? Slow down. Go faster. Catch him. Catch the wolf. Catch him. Catch the wolf. Come on, don't stop. Keep going. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. Fast as you can. Fast as you can. Fast as you can.
Aha! I caught you, Mr. Wolf. Having caught the wolf, the woodcutter fetched his scissors and snip, snip, snipped the wolf's belly. And can you guess what he found? Grandmother and Red Riding Hood leapt out from the wolf's belly and were over the moon. They helped the woodcutter to fill the wolf's belly with stones, and when he tried to run away, he fell down dead. There was a great celebration in the village, and everyone ate tasty wolf stew. Grandmother made herself a wolfskin rug, as well as fashioning a new cape for Red Riding Hood to keep her warm in the winter. From then on, Red Riding Hood stayed out of the dark woods where wolves and witches prey. And Grandmother, the woodcutter, the girl and her mother lived happily ever after.
Who's that?
The mother.
Who's that?
Red Riding Hood. Grandma. The frog woodcutter. The wolf.
Who's that?